Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and the easiest time to add insult to injury is when you're signing someone's cast. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game that I was very excited to see called Star Trek Infinite, developed by Nimble Giant Entertainment and published by Paradox Interactive, released not in early access and selling for $30 American. $30? For this game? Holy halibut. And we're already off to a fantastic start. See this is what I was presented with upon entering the game. Look at this. Now, it's not all bad, I guess. I restarted the game to try again, and not only did it load faster the second time, but I was greeted with an all-new title screen. See? But still, overall, it was very lackluster coming into the game. I mean, the title screen is kind of boring and bland and pathetic, and that loading screen every time you start up is also really annoying. Sorry if you hear anything in the background, that's my dog. She's got her collar on, and it likes to make a lot of noise, only when I'm recording. Now then, what is this game? Well, it's a 4X strategy game, but it's Star Trek. What's more to know? There's no real story here. I mean, if you play the tutorial, then there kind of is one, and I guess in the main game there kind of is one a little bit as random events pop up and stuff, but yeah, it's just a grand strategy kind of game. Managing armies, resources, and your empire. Not turn-based, all real-time strategy. Alright? Alright. Now we'll do as we always do and go into the good and bad, followed by my final thoughts, alright? Cool. Now then, up first, as always, is the good. So first up for the positives is the graphics. Now the game does indeed look really good. Now the main galactic map is kind of basic, but when you zoom in there's a surprising attention to detail present here. Plus the lighting from stars and faraway nebulas and stuff is all really nice to look at as well. And it just overall looks really good as far as, you know, in my opinion, for what I'm looking at here, for what kind of game this is, I think it looks really good. Then you've got the personalized art of each planet, icons, ships, and I could keep going. Basically, everything here does indeed look pretty decent. I mean, it's not awesome or anything. I've seen mods for Star Wars Empire at War that look just as good, but still, it's passable, I suppose. Next up is the sound effects and the music. The music is perfectly Star Trek, and it's decent enough to listen to. It's in the background, it sets the mood, it sounds appropriate, and it's all around just perfect for what game you're playing. The sound effects are very sci-fi, and they match and they sound right. So, you know, you'll hear the little bleeps and bloops of you managing your UI and your ships and stuff, and it all just sounds really good. Plus, there's voice acting, but, I mean, okay, well, in some ways it's decent, and in others it's kind of pathetic, but, I mean, at least it's there. The next positive thing that I want to talk about here is the price tag. For a 4X game that could last you weeks or months or even years with a level of detail and intricate things all included here and the replayability options, the very in-depth nature of the game and everything around it, I mean, that $30 price tag is a steal. Incredibly well priced. I was definitely expecting to pay a lot more for this game. And the last positive I want to bring up is the stability. The game was running very smooth, at least for me. There was no crashing, no freezing, no bugs of any kind that I could detect. It felt like a fully released game, as it should, and it felt very ironed out and stable. Not even any frame rate drops. I mean, it was just smooth to play overall, which was nice to see. However, I would like to add that this has not been everyone else's experience. Apparently, a lot of other people have been getting some serious bugs when buying and installing the game, like this black screen that won't go away or the tutorial breaking, so keep that in mind. You're still taking a risk. Just because mine was fine doesn't mean yours will be. Now that's where the positives end, I'm afraid. I really wish that I could have gone more into it, but now I gotta go into the negatives, even though it pains me to do so. Like, I might not be a Trekkie, but I still really love sci-fi stuff. You know, sci-fi RPGs, strategies, it doesn't matter. If it's science fiction involving space, I love it. So despite not being a Trekkie, I've still tried watching all the shows and the movies and played a lot of the games. So yeah, this is still gonna hurt me to go into the negatives. But before I do, my channel only gets more views and more publicity if it already has them. It's really stupid. So the best way to help my channel grow, besides liking and subscribing, is sharing my content online. So please help get my channel out there into the world. I need your guys' help to do it. So, you know, share the word, spread the word, share my videos, alright? So yeah, please consider helping me out today. Thank you. Now then, on to the negatives, and I gotta go fast because this video is already almost halfway over, and that's not okay. I need to go faster. I think the first negative that really hit me was the tutorial. Now, if you know me and my channel, you know how I feel about tutorials. They gotta be good or it turns me off right away, and this one was absolutely terrible. For one, they're too wordy. It's one of those situations where they're trying to sound smarter by saying a whole lot when all that does is confuse and annoy me. I came here to be taught how to play your complicated game, not to get invested and immersed. I can do that later when I'm no longer in the tutorial. While I'm here, just in basic, plain, simple, brief English, explain to me what does what, why you would want to do this, and how. That's it. But no, in this game, they want to tell you their entire life story when you're just trying to figure out how to build a fleet of warships or what this resource is good for. And furthermore, when they do teach you something, they chose not to turn off random events and pop-ups. So the result is that while the narrator is trying to tell you how to do something, you'll get a random pop-up, also with voice dialogue, also by the same woman. So she's talking to you at two different times at the same time, telling you about a new mission that you have. Then you get rid of that one so you can finish hearing and learning from the first voice and what it was telling you, but then another pop-up will jump into your face about a random event with unknown consequences and rewards for picking a choice, which you have no idea about because you're still learning the game in the frickin' tutorial. I don't know what this little icon means. I don't know what resource that is. I don't know what it's useful for. I don't know what I need it for. So why are you telling me that I should pick this one or that one when I don't even know your game yet? Needless to say, it was a huge, jumbled up mess of confusion and overwhelming amounts of information being thrown at you 3 messages at a time and somehow expecting you to read it all, hear it all, and learn it all at the same time. I learned almost nothing from the tutorial. It was completely awful. In fact, I probably learned more playing the game without the tutorial and figuring it out for myself than I did with it, and that's just downright crap. The next negative I want to talk about is the gameplay. However, it does have some good in it, so let's talk about that first. So the first of the good for the gameplay, it does have an intense level of detail in its day-to-day operations. It also allows you to speed up time and pause the game as you need. But you're also going to need leaders, governors, fleet commanders, scientists, all of them that will perform specific jobs to make your job of running your empire easier. They have exploration, war, colonization, management of planets you own, and even random pop-up events that you'll need to make choices for. It all helps to immerse you and help you feel more like you're actually a leader of your empire. They even let you customize some starships. I mean, not their look, of course, but their equipment like it was an RPG. It's got diplomacy and a lot of good management aspects like resources, research, and edicts and stuff like that, culture, and they all do feel pretty decent. But now we got to go into the bad about the gameplay. And in my opinion, overall, it's kind of awful and boring. Look, it's got a good baseline, it's got a good foundation, but it's like having a solid foundation and then you build a hut made of literal poo on top of it. Like, no one wants to live in that despite its great foundation. So what do I mean by that? Well, diplomacy is in the game, but for me at least, it was kind of awful. I was getting random messages of different people just offering me whatever I wanted for no real reason. But if you don't respond fast enough, then it'll be automatically rejected, and then your relationship with that person will go down. If you get multiple responses from multiple empires, it is impossible to read everything, come up with a decision, and then move on to the next before it's automatically declined because you took too long, and I'm a really fast reader. Then you've got the management of the empire. Despite my best attempt, I couldn't seem to make my people happy despite doing what I thought the game had taught me to do. It didn't make any sense. Despite the fact that I owned all these systems in my empire, apparently there were only 3 planets that were colonizable. Or technically, only 2 of them were colonizable, yet there was a third one. Why was that under the list of colonizable planets if it's not colonizable? Then what's the point in having all these systems in the first place as well? Like, I've got all these systems, but they do nothing. Then you've got the intense overall amount of stuff here. You've got so much to manage with no advice or hint or expectation or guide of what you're supposed to be doing. Like, what is the point? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to conquer everything? Because the game doesn't really seem like that's what you're supposed to do. So what am I supposed to do? The game has a lot of time of you just sitting around and doing nothing. I mean, I was just building whatever I wanted, colonizing wherever I wanted, and just overall doing whatever I wanted with almost no consequences at all for what I was doing. And obviously I didn't have much of an idea of what was going on because the tutorial didn't teach me dick. So basically the gameplay is just this. You wait, then you'll build something. Not too sure what it does, but it sounds right. Now let's go survey that system. Build a starbase to make that system a part of your territory, and you wait. Do some research. Now repeat everything you just did. Now you wait again. And then you just repeat what you just did again. And now you're waiting again. And the whole time you'll randomly respond to these random pop-up story events that give you a little boost here and there, or maybe a slightly exciting event that you need to react to, but it's presented to you in a very boring way with one picture and a buttload of dialogue that you need to read and you're supposed to care about. I didn't. Why should I? I even tried randomly going to war with, I think it was the Cardassian Empire, and this is what I experienced. I really thought the war aspect would be more fun, but then I realized this game isn't about war. It's about everything else. It's about espionage, it's about diplomacy, and it's about exploration. But haven't all the TV shows and movies and other video games already shown us everything there is in the galaxy and already done all this? Why would I want to do it all again, but in a strategy game that strategy games are normally about war? I've been really wanting some form of Star Trek that was more focused on combat and war and the spaceships and stuff. I don't care if it was a TV show or a game, and I really thought that this one might give it to me. But the war in this game is just awful. Since it's not turn-based, the AI will zip around left and right, avoiding you completely while destroying everything in milliseconds. I could not react fast enough. It was impossible. When I finally did get a fleet to engage with them, this is what I saw. This crappy little combat. Like, I couldn't control anything. I couldn't manage anything. All I could do was sit there and wait and watch as I was destroyed. So if you were hoping to engage in some cool war, but with Star Trek, think again. The battles are underwhelmingly disappointing. Overwhelmingly disappointing. And pointless. Hard to even watch, and just overall no fun at all. And I think that was the final straw for me. When I realized how boring and pointless the fleet battles were in this 4X strategy game, I was just done. It was the whole reason why I picked up the game in the first place. It's just another game that takes this amazing universe, and instead of doing something new and different, they give you the same shit Star Trek has been giving us since the beginning. Exploring new worlds and new aliens and reacting to them. I mean, that's great and all, but if I wanted that, I'd just go watch the damn show. This is a strategy game. I expected at the very least for the war and the battle aspects to be expansive and cooler than what it was, but it was just incredibly disappointing and underwhelming. Now, is it all bad? Of course not. There's a lot of management here to running your empire. They have these traditions that can allow you to make your own version of the Federation. I was going for the alternate reality kind from Picard, where the Federation was human superiority and military-based, and we're going to conquer everything and kill everything. Like, I was going for that kind of run, because I thought it would be cool and interesting to see something different, and you can do that here. And that's a really cool aspect. But with the mismanagement of the resources, information, and the particulars of your empire, it's really hard to do anything the way you want when you can't really understand it or what's going on. The next negative I wanted to go into was the UI. The game will want you to click on a specific planet to send your ship there for whatever reason, building a mining platform or a colony or whatever, but they make the planets and the things to click on incredibly small and hard to click on, but they make the banner for the planet extremely large. So you'll constantly be clicking and re-clicking over and over and over again trying to get your ship to do what you want because the UI is just so jumbled. Then you've got all these menus with all these really small text and then having so much text that it's all a big jumbled mess. It was just hard to navigate, hard to understand, and all of it thrust into your face like you're supposed to already be an expert. I just wanted a large Star Trek strategy game. I wanted it to be similar to maybe Star Wars Empire at War, or Civilization, or Master of Orion, but it just isn't. I've heard a lot of people call this game like it's Stellaris, but with Star Trek skin. I never played Stellaris, but if that's the case, then maybe just go play that. I mean, this is what everybody online is saying. So, look, that's all I gotta say for the negatives, and honestly, in my overall opinion, I feel very let down by this game. I mean, is it a bad game? No, not really, not for what they're going for, but it's not really a great game either. I'd say it's average, which is probably why it's only priced at $30. Even they knew this game wasn't worth more than that. I mean, does it do anything exceptionally? No, it doesn't do anything exceptionally. It's just a standard 4X game with a Star Trek skin. Does it do anything new and innovative? Again, no, it doesn't. But is it severely broken in any way? And I mean besides the bugs at launch. Well, it's hard in my opinion to determine that. All I know is that it was a bit too complicated and crowded for me personally, and I love 4X games. But no, it's not doing anything severely wrong other than wasting its potential. This game could have been huge. It could have had little cutscenes, different pictures, a plethora of images for you to look at, maybe a more intense and close-up war battle system that had more, direct control with, little cinematic views like all those other games have. They could have more unique, interesting images plastered about to give you a better visual understanding of what's going on. But it just wasn't what I was expecting or what I wanted. If it's not about war, fine. If it's more about the universe, diplomacy, and exploration, fine, but that's not what I wanted. If this sounds fun to you, with a buttload of micromanaging, then be my guest. I really hope you enjoy it. But this game clearly isn't for me, and I can't describe to you how disappointed I am. Personally, I was just not enjoying this game. I was bored, I was confused, and I was irritated. But if what you saw looks fun and interesting to you, then I encourage you to check it out. Despite its buggy launch, I'm not seeing a lot severely wrong with it enough to turn people away from it, besides my own personal gripes and complaints. So, if this is kind of what you were expecting, then again, it might be a really good game for you, because it seemed to work really well for me, and it did have a good foundation. So again, this has all been my personal opinion. It's not what I was expecting. Do I recommend it? That all depends on you guys. Some people out there might actually really like the idea of this game, and if you do, then more power to you. But if you were looking for a more war-based kind of strategy game, this is definitely not the one to go on. This is a diplomacy exploration game, not a war game. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then I do encourage you to check it out. But if not, then you're going to want to pass. Alright everybody? Alright, so that's all the time I got for this video. Sorry it was so long. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.